Joining me for today's presentation, I will be covering the effects of workplace stress on employees and benefits to reducing that stress. The first thing we're going to start with is our introduction. Stress is everywhere in life. Every day you deal with it and you experience it. Taking proper measures to deal with that stress and resolve it can have many positive effects on your personal and work life. When you're stressed out, you tend not to give 100%. And when you do that, that can affect the work that you do at your job, which in turn can affect the company and cause problems at your home life. Stress dealt with in a well and positive manner can also help heal and go back on the negative effects that stress can cause. Next, we're going to be talking about the purpose of this presentation. The purpose of this presentation is to explain the effects of stress on employees, the company, and on your own personal life that it can have, as well as bring awareness to the growing problem that workplace stress is. Every day, it gets more and more stressful for every job out there. Every field has it. So learning how to deal with it is extremely beneficial. Next, we'll talk about what's going to be discussed in this presentation. We will talk about how to deal with stress, different ways and procedures to resolve it, as well as the different types of stress that you can encounter in your day-to-day life, such as workplace stress, personal stress, as well as stress in your home life, as well as research conducted that helped aid in the production of this presentation and help us understand the topic even further. Now, we'll talk a bit about some definitions that'll help you understand this presentation and further your knowledge about it. Our first definition is stress. Stress is a physical or emotional strain on a person due to a variety of different things that you can encounter in your daily life. Whether it's a person, a thing, a place, something that causes you strain and makes you perhaps uncomfortable physically or mentally, that can be classified as stress. And the things that make you feel stressed out are labeled stressors. A big stressor would be work-life balance. When you're allotting more time for your work than your personal life, that can have effects on family, friends, relationships. Doing that will in turn cause more stress at the workplace and more problems in your personal life. Having the imbalance between the two is very detrimental for an employee. It affects their work and the business that the company gets. The next definition is of hypersensitivity. It's a very common side effect of stress. It's where you're very sensitive to external stimuli, whether they're sounds, feelings, or just certain emotions. Next, we're going to be talking about the methods of research used for this. Our primary research was a questionnaire given to the company's employees to find out their common stressors in the everyday work environment and to see how they would deal with those stressors. We also ran a few focus groups to figure out from people outside of the company to see the stressors they felt throughout each and every day and the way that they resolved that stress and dealt with it, as well as surveys given to other companies to see their procedures and what they did to reduce stress. Our secondary research was from various books and articles, as well as academic journals and reports that we read to gain more knowledge about this topic before we produced this, so that when we gave it, we could give the most accurate information. Next, we're going to be talking about the common symptoms of too much stress. A few of the symptoms are headaches, frustration, insomnia, Trouble learning and mood swings. Trouble learning can be a really big problem in the workplace, especially if you're newer, because you're not grasping those ideas and procedures as well as you would if you weren't so stressed. And having these frustrations and trouble sleeping, the headaches, it'll make you irritable, and it'll make you kind of touchy to the customer. The customer might see you as just being rude. They don't know you. They don't know what you're going through. So that can in turn turn into some negative business for your company, and they won't want to come back. Next, we're going to be talking about some of the benefits to resolving that workplace stress. A big benefit to resolving the stress would be happier employees. And the happier employees will provide better business, and customers with that better business will want to come back. Another big thing about resolving the stress in the workplace, it will cause employees to be more productive, more willing to do more at their work. You also will be paying less out of pocket for stress-related expenses, such as sick days, or when you have unhappy employees, sometimes they just don't want to show up. Next, we're going to talk about some common workplace relief procedures. The biggest one here is to address the known issues before they turn into an even bigger problem than they already are. Other than that, training your employees and management to resolve that stress without having to go to HR higher up can really help to minimize the problems in the workplace. Implementing a wellness program is a very great idea for any company out there. If your employees are stressed, have a life coach on hand, a number for them to call, and a lot of businesses and places are implementing gyms, gym memberships in order to work out that stress. These are also really nice when applying for a job. They can be seen as a very big plus. And some further recommendations for our company would be implementing a wellness program. It would help deal with the stress that is currently present, and training our managers and our staff to deal with that will help stop the further production of stress for future days, as well as setting reasonable expectations for your employees. If their goals are attainable, and not too hard to reach, then it can help minimize the stress of trying to reach those goals. And thank you very much for joining me for this presentation.